Live from New Delhi, you're watching the India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron to hold bilateral engagements in Mumbai to strengthen cooperation across wide spectrum of areas to announce the launch of India-France Year of Innovation 2026. Day 2 of India AI Impact Summit in New Delhi focus on launch of knowledge compendiums, including casebooks on AI in health, energy and education. Global tech leaders and union ministers including Ashwini Vaishnav, Dharmendra Pradhan to attend the session. Bangladesh Nationalist Party leader Tarique Rahman to be sworn in as Prime Minister in Dhaka. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla to represent India at the swearing-in ceremony. President Donald Trump warns Tehran of consequences of not making a deal in the US-Iran talks set to begin in Geneva today. Iran holds military drill in key oil strait ahead of crucial talks. Nissanka stunned power Sri Lanka to an 8-wicket win over Australia in the ICC T20 World Cup. Australia on the brink of group stage exit after crushing defeat. The 5-day India AI Impact Summit at Delhi's Bharat Mandapam enters its second day today, drawing heads of states, policymakers, tech industry executives, journalists, civil society groups and several others from around the globe for what promises to be an intense, high-stakes week in New Delhi. Day 2 of the summit is marked by prestigious launch of knowledge compendiums, including the casebooks on AI in health, energy, education, agriculture, gender empowerment and disabilities. While Bharat Mandapam holds a specialized seminar on applied AI and the ongoing expo, Sushma Swaraj Bhavan takes the lead on social equity by hosting sessions on the role of AI as global impact challenge, spotlighting women leaders driving the AI revolution. On Monday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomed global leaders, industry captains, innovators and policymakers to the AI Impact Summit in New Delhi. Inaugurating the India AI Impact Expo in the city, he highlighted the transformative role of artificial intelligence. The expo is expected to see nearly 300,000 visitors, including foreign delegates. We get you more in this report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the India AI Impact Expo 2026 on Monday at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. The India AI Impact Summit, along with the expo, began on Monday and will continue till February 20th, Friday. The theme of the summit is Sarvajana Hitaye, Sarvajana Sukhaye, welfare for all, happiness for all, reflecting inclusive growth and collective well-being through artificial intelligence. The expo serves as a national demonstration of AI in action, where policy meets practice, innovation meets scale, and technology connects with citizens on a daily basis. Prime Minister Modi took a tour of the exhibition and interacted with representatives from various AI firms and startups. Executives showcased their latest AI models, innovations, and intended services. Prime Minister Modi carefully listened to the presentations while visiting curated exhibition pavilions and live demonstrations structured across 3 foundation pillars or sutras: people, planet, and progress. Spread across 10 arenas covering more than 70,000 square meters, the expo brings together global technology companies, startups, academia, research institutions, union ministries, state governments, and international partners. The expo also features 13 country pavilions, highlighting international collaboration in the AI ecosystem. Participating countries include Australia, Japan, Russia, United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Switzerland, Serbia, Estonia, Tajikistan, and African nations. Following its inauguration, the summit will be open to the general public from Tuesday. The India AI Impact Expo 2026 is expected to witness participation from over 250,000 visitors, including international delegates. The event aims to foster new partnerships and create business opportunities within the global AI ecosystem. Over the course of the event, the expo will host more than 300 curated exhibition pavilions and live demonstrations. In addition, over 600 high potential startups, many building globally relevant population scale solutions, are to showcase working technologies already developed in real world settings. Bureau Report, DD India.
Our correspondent Akshay Dongre joins us from New Delhi. Akshay, good morning. We've shown a detailed report to our viewers talking about the India AI Impact Summit. I would want you to explain to our viewers in very simple, common man's lay terms, what does a common person expect from this summit? How is India showcased on the global page when we talk of India hosting these delegations and international leaders who've come to the country at the India AI Summit? What does it bring to the world?
Well, we have lived in different ages, Stone Age, probably, Iron Age, then there were computer age, then, now the age is called artificial intelligence age. The reason for that is AI has become the front-running technology in the world that is not only limited to tech sector, it's everywhere that you go. Everywhere that you see, everything that we have as far as our modern technologies are concerned are trying to adapt to artificial intelligence, because it's a smart way of doing computing, smart way of doing, all the operations, and computers are doing work for you. That is, not only increasing efficiency of humans, but also decreasing the workload and making it more profitable for the businesses to do many things at the same time, using the computer and the artificial intelligence softwares that are there. So it's not just one company like ChatGPT or Meta or perhaps Anthropic. There are hundreds of companies, hundreds of startups that have their own models of artificial intelligence, own coding, own way of adapting artificial intelligence into our day-to-day life. For example, to explain it to our viewers that how it impacts them. So artificial intelligence, let's say, is a system that does work for you. It interacts with you. It helps you out in doing several things. And using the brain of a computer that is extremely powerful in today's world, it is able to do so many things that even humans, even in large groups, are not able to achieve. So what we see, the world that we perceive today has started to change not only a few years back when all of these major AI companies had started to emerge. Work on AI has been there for very long, and perhaps India has been one of those countries that lagged behind as far as their own AI models are concerned, as compared to other contemporary nations like China, like US, perhaps. These are the two major players. So if you compete to these world player leaders in AI, India somewhere lagged behind, and this summit is in a way an effort by the government to sort of fill that gap. And artificial intelligence leaders from all around the world, students, professors, tech leaders, civil society members, other different industries are coming together at one spot to understand how artificial intelligence can increase the efficiency of every sector, including agriculture, by prioritizing the resources in the right areas, right amounts in healthcare, by helping out better diagnostics in education, by distributing education in a more equitable and in easier manner. So it impacts everyone, and it impacts every sector that is going to become much more efficient, much more faster, and making our life much more easier in the future. And this summit is going to help boost that artificial intelligence revolution in the country.
All right, Akshay, also let us know how is day 2 at the summit expected to pan out? What all could be the highlights of the day 2 that we should look forward to?
Well, Union Health Minister JP Nadda is going to launch 2 new initiatives as far as Bharat Mandapam is concerned in health sector. Like I was mentioning, health sector can also see major boost as far as embedding artificial intelligence into the system. Existing systems are concerned that can make it easier for diagnostics. Many of the AI companies have embedded artificial intelligence into healthcare diagnostics, and have been able to find out much earlier signs of diseases like lung cancer, like other diseases that would have been much more difficult for human eyes to detect, but artificial intelligence made it much more easier. Then there is going to be a Ministry of information broadcasting pavilion that is going to be inaugurated today at 9:30 a.m. So there are a vast number of initiatives that will be taken today, and the summit has just started. It's just the day 2, and in essence, day 1. If you exclude because yesterday was inauguration part, but the real game starts from today, and it's going to be quite interesting as far as the road ahead is concerned.
All right, Akshay, also, what are the prospects for India when it hosts such a summit on such a scale? We've always seen Prime Minister emphasizing on digitalization, emphasizing on innovation, technology. But then put all this together, when India hosts a summit of this scale, how does it benefit the country, and also to what extent will it further enhance or take forward the ambition of tech-savvy nation, or the ambition of, as the Prime Minister puts together, inculcating innovation instinct in the youth, and added to that the rest of the aspects?
Well, we are a country of about 1.45 billion people, but we do not have as far as resources are concerned, they are not as vast as they should be for such a large population. You have other countries like US that have much lesser population, so the resources are much more per capita. So in this kind of a scenario, while yes, we have the resources in terms of human capabilities, but the natural resources are limited. So how to most efficiently allocate these resources, where to do it in governance, in healthcare, in sort of our day-to-day life. Artificial intelligence can help with that, because it is accurate, it is efficient, and it is reliable as well. And does the cost, does the work at fraction of a cost that it would require the humans to do. So computing is making life easier and can help with the growth journey of the country.
All right, Akshay, we leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those details and insights. And as artificial intelligence reshapes economies and societies worldwide, as we told you, New Delhi is hosting a landmark global gathering. The India AI Impact Summit 2026 kicked off on Monday and will continue till the 20th of February, marking the first ever global AI summit in the global south. Guided by the theme Sarvajana Hitaya, Sarvajana Sukha, which means welfare of all, happiness for all, the summit brings together 20 world leaders and delegations from over 45 countries to shape a human-centric, inclusive AI future. Here's our special report.
As artificial intelligence begins to redefine economies, governance, science, and even the nature of human possibility, New Delhi becomes the epicenter of a historic global conversation. The India AI Impact Summit 2026 kicked off at Bharat Mandapam in the national capital on Monday and will run to the 20th of February, marking the first ever global AI summit hosted in the global south. Guided by the timeless civilizational principle of Sarjan Hitai, Sarjan Sukhai, that is welfare for all, happiness for all, the summit seeks to ensure that the future of artificial intelligence is not just powerful but purposeful, not just innovative but inclusive. The summit is guided by 3 foundational pillars referred to as the 3 sutras. First is people, promoting human-centric AI that safeguards rights, enhances access to services, builds trust, and ensures equitable benefits across societies. Second is planet, advancing environmentally sustainable AI through energy-efficient systems, responsible resource use, and applications that strengthen climate action and resilience. And third is progress, enabling inclusive economic and technological advancement through innovation, capacity building, and AI-driven productivity and development outcomes. Deliberations at the summit are structured into 7 chakras, interconnected working groups designed to translate vision into action. From human capital focusing on equitable skilling and workforce transitions, to inclusion for social empowerment, ensuring AI systems are inclusive by design, to safe and trusted AI anchored on transparency and accountability. The chakras include science, accelerating frontier research, resilience, innovation and efficiency, strengthening climate sustainability, democratizing AI resources, expanding equitable access to foundational AI tools, and AI for economic development and social good, leveraging technology to drive inclusive growth. At the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, world leaders from 20 countries are scheduled to attend the summit in New Delhi. These include Prime Minister Tshering Tobgay of Bhutan, Vice President Edmund Lara Montano of Bolivia, President Luis Inacio Lula da Silva of Brazil, Prime Minister Andrej Plenković of Croatia, President Alar Karis of Estonia, Prime Minister Petteri Orpo of Finland, President Emmanuel Macron of France, Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis of Greece, Vice President Bharat Jagdeo of Guyana, Prime Minister Olcas Bektenov of Kazakhstan, Aloy, Hereditary Prince of Liechtenstein, Prime Minister Navin Chandra Ramgoolam of Mauritius, President Alexander Vucic of Serbia, President Peter Pellegrini of Slovakia, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez of Spain, President Anurakumar Dissanayake of Sri Lanka, Vice President Sebastian Pillay of Seychelles, President Guy Parmelin of Switzerland, Prime Minister Dick Schoof of the Netherlands, and Crown Prince Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan of the United Arab Emirates. Ministerial delegations from over 45 countries will also be participating. UN Secretary General and senior officials from several international organizations are also expected to join the deliberations as well. The summit positions India as both convener and partner in shaping global AI cooperation, supporting shared standards, collaborative frameworks, and scalable solutions for public good. As the world stands at the edge of an AI-driven era, New Delhi may well define how intelligence serves humanity, responsibly, inclusively, and for the welfare of all. This Roy's report, DD India.
The Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, JP Nadda, will launch two key national initiatives: the Strategy for Artificial Intelligence and Healthcare for India and the Benchmarking Open Data Platform for Health AI at the India AI Summit at Bharat Mandapam. SAHI is a national guidance framework to enable the safe, ethical, evidence-based and inclusive adoption of artificial intelligence across India's healthcare system. Both is a privacy-preserving benchmarking platform that enables rigorous evaluation of AI models using diverse, real-world health data without sharing underlying data sets. Together, SAHI and both mark a significant step in India's journey towards building a responsible, robust and globally competitive health AI ecosystem. At the India AI Impact Summit 2026, India emphasized sovereign AI and practical innovation beyond policy. A key highlight was the Sovereign AI Box by Paradigm IT, an on-premises solution keeping sensitive data within India. Now, this aligns with the India AI mission, promoting data security, digital sovereignty, and trusted AI deployment across sectors.
So what we're trying to do is that we're helping to improve the lives of police officers actually. So they have to go through a lot of mental struggles to understand a particular investigation process, as well as to figure out what kind of rules and sections apply. So what we're trying to do is that make the jobs of police officers easier by ingesting all the complaints directly from the citizen and automatically extracting what kind of sections apply and basically creating the FIR for them.
So this is the future for government in terms of using artificial intelligence and using artificial intelligence for public good. So this keeps data secure. This is essentially composed of, if you can just zoom in here, so that's compute nodes, the GPUs. So what this does is this keeps, you can use police use cases as the one which you showed just now. It allows data sovereignty. It allows the public to be sure that their data is not impinged upon. And it's essentially to make sure that police work is secure.
At the AI Impact Summit, Innovation Met Tradition and Transformation, Venkat KL, founder of startup Sanatana, is harnessing artificial intelligence to promote and preserve India's rich cultural heritage for the digital generation.
We are a technology startup from Bangalore, where we are aggregating, we want to bring the technology to the India's rich spiritual heritage, tradition and everything. Along with that, we are coming out with fintech solutions. We want to enable and empower the poorest of the poor. It is called Antyodaya, fintech Antyodaya for the Indian community.
In another major milestone, Vision Digital India, led by Tarique Rahman, unveiled India's first AI trainer machine, an AI lab in a box developed in collaboration with Intel Global and launched by AICTE.
This machine is basically for training students. Now, when we talk about AI, it is a very vast concept. So, there is ChatGPT, there is after that Tesla, there is robots, everything. They are very much vast concepts, different fields, different segments. So, what happens in this segments are, there are different kinds of logic we use. So, all this kind of logic, how we can be implementing in a simple place and we can be training students. So this is a main agenda where we have developed this mission.
You're watching DD India Newshour. That was about the India AI Impact Summit. We'll get you other updates also. But after the break, stay with us.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Newshour. Bangladesh's newly elected leader Tarique Rahman will take the oath as the new Prime Minister of the country on Tuesday after leading his party to a forceful victory in the crucial general elections. Tarique Rahman's Bangladesh Nationalist Party has bagged 209 out of 297 seats, while right-wing Jamaat-e-Islami secured 68 seats in the 13th parliamentary elections. President Mohammad Shahabuddin will administer the oath to the new cabinet members at the South Plaza of the Jatiya Sansad on Tuesday afternoon. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla will represent India at the swearing-in ceremony of Bangladesh's Prime Minister-designate Tarique Rahman in Dhaka. The Speaker's participation will underscore the deep and enduring friendship between the people of India and Bangladesh, reaffirming India's steadfast commitment to the democratic values that bind our two nations. Meanwhile, hours before the swearing-in ceremony, Bangladesh's interim leader Mohammad Yunus on Monday announced his resignation in a televised address to the nation, formally ending the caretaker administration that governed after the 2024 political upheaval. In his farewell address, Yunus urged the country to safeguard the democratic space that had reopened during the transition period. Naval Singh Parmar is joining us on phone line from Dhaka to get us more. Naval Singh, good morning. We tell our viewers that Tarique Rahman will be taking oath as the Prime Minister today. What more can you add to it? Do we know more about his cabinet?
After around 2 decades of time, BNP government will be formed today most probably the leadership of Tarique Rahman. BNP party as well as the supporters of the BNP are in jubilant mode. Many foreign dignitaries, including our Speaker, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, and the Nepal Foreign Minister, and Maldives President, Sri Lankan Health Minister, and representatives from the SAARC country are attending the swearing-in ceremony. A ceremony will held at 4 p.m. at the South Plaza of Bangladesh Parliament, and before that, elected member of Parliament will take oath at 10 a.m. In the morning. And then after the Tarique Rahman, BNP party will hold a meeting, and in the meeting they will elect their leader. And elected leader will formally stake claim for the formation of cabinet in front of president, and then after the swearing in will happen and president will administer the oath. So there is a huge security deployment and traffic diversion, and as Dhaka is very congested city and many foreign dignitaries is visiting today. And amid tight security and extensive deployments of the other law enforcement agencies, the ceremony will be held at South Plaza Parliament.
All right, Naval Singh, also help us understand what are the challenges which the new government will face ahead, and how far will this new government help in reshaping the political landscape of Bangladesh given the 2024 political upheaval?
As Tarique Rahman outlined in his press conference after the election result, that the key challenges ahead of the new elected government will be the first and foremost will be the establishment of the law and order situation in Bangladesh, secure law and order. As the country passed through the turbulent time under the Yunus administration during the 1 year and was almost 1.5 years. people felt very poor law and order situation in Bangladesh. And apart from that, the economic issues like the inflation and unemployment and the reduction in the foreign investment as well as the local investment. So industry is also facing many issues. So this government will have to face the issues like the law and order and the economic issues. Apart from that, the Bangladesh new government will have to tackle the foreign players, and their foreign policy must be demanding, must be the balancing, so that it will help the growth and regional cooperation for the Bangladesh, as it is outlined by its BNP's Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir. So these are the key issues.
All right, Naval Singh, thank you so much for joining us with those details. And US President Donald Trump on Monday warned Iran of the consequences of not making a deal ahead of the talks between the United States and the Islamic Republic in Geneva. Tehran and Washington are due to engage in the second round of talks in Geneva on Tuesday. US President Donald Trump has said on Monday that he would be involved indirectly in the talks. When he was asked about the prospects for a deal, Trump said that Iran sought tough negotiations but learned the consequences of such a hardened stance last summer when the US bombed Iranian nuclear sites. Iran-US nuclear talks had stalled over Washington's demand to forego enrichment on its soil. This was followed by the US joining Israel in striking Iranian nuclear sites in June. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that any deal between the United States and Iran must involve the removal of all enriched uranium from Iran, as well as Tehran's ability to enrich more.
I said that if a deal is to be reached, it should have several components that we believe are important not only for the security of Israel, but for the security of the world, the United States, the region, the world. The first is that all enriched material has to leave Iran. The second is that there shall be no enrichment capability, not stopping the enrichment process, but dismantle the equipment and the infrastructure that allows you to enrich in the first place. And the third is to deal also with the questions of ballistic missiles. So there has to be real inspections, substantive inspections, no lead time inspections, but effective inspections for all of the above.
Iran's foreign ministry spokesman said that the US position on Tehran's nuclear program has moved towards a more realistic one. He added that Iran's inalienable rights under the Non-Proliferation Treaty were recognized, referring to the peaceful uses of nuclear energy, including enrichment. Meanwhile, tensions are soaring ahead of the talks, with the US deploying a second aircraft carrier to the Middle East. On the other hand, Iran's Revolutionary Guards Navy held a drill in the Hormuz Strait on Monday. According to Iran news agency, the drill, named Smart Control of Hormuz Strait, aimed at testing the readiness of the operational forces in the face of possible security and military threats. US Senator Lindsey Graham said that a decision regarding Iran was in 2 weeks, not months. Addressing journalists in Tel Aviv, Graham said that he was there to reassure the Israeli people that there are no gaps between US President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as to what to do and how to do it.
My presence here today is to reassure the Israeli people there is no light or gaps between President Trump and Bibi about what to do and how to do it. There are two lines in the water right now. One's a diplomatic line, trying to find a way to end this regime diplomatically that will advance our national security interest. The other line is the military option. I think President Trump is looking for which line can catch the biggest fish. The bottom line is we're into weeks, not months, in terms of decision making.
Ukrainian, Russian and American delegations are gathering in the Swiss city of Geneva for the third round of US brokered talks on Tuesday. For the first time, discussions would focus on the main issues, including territories and other demands put forward by Moscow. The Russian delegation is led by presidential aide Vladimir Medinsky, with military intelligence chief Igor Kostikov also participating. President Putin's special envoy Kirill Dmitriev will join a separate working group focusing on economic issues. Trump's top envoy Steve Witkoff and son-in-law Jared Kushner are part of the U.S. delegation, while the head of Ukraine's National Security Council, Rustem Umerev, will represent Kyiv along with a host of other officials. Two earlier rounds of US-backed talks in the United Arab Emirates led to a prisoner swap, but no breakthrough towards a settlement. Now, Russia controls about 75% of the Zaporizhzhia region. Russia is demanding that Ukraine cede the remaining 20% of the eastern region of Donetsk that Moscow has failed to capture, something Kyiv refuses to do. US President Donald Trump is pressing Moscow and Kyiv to reach a deal to end Europe's biggest conflict since 1945, though Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has complained that his country is facing the greatest pressure to make concessions. Ahead of the talks, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Ukrainian intelligence showed more Russian attacks on energy targets lay ahead and that such strikes made it more difficult to reach an agreement.
Everyone is now awaiting the continuation of trilateral meetings. Our delegation is already in Geneva and preparing for negotiations. Russia cannot resist the temptation of the final days of winter cold and wants to strike Ukrainians painfully. The more evil comes from Russia, the harder it will be to reach any agreements with them. Partners must understand this.
The US government has labelled Cuba a failed nation, citing shortages of jet fuel and basic resources that hinder the operations like flights. US President Donald Trump said officials, including Marco Rubio, are in discussions with Cuba to address the situation, which is being called a humanitarian threat, while the country continues to face an embargo and severe resource constraints. Meanwhile, Cuba's fuel shortage has triggered a waste management crisis, with many garbage trucks lacking enough petrol to collect trash, leaving piles of rubbish accumulating on street corners across Havana. Cuba's media said trash is piling up in other towns as well, with residents warning on social media about potential public health risks. The country has long relied on Venezuela for much of its jet fuel, but supplies stopped in mid-December after the United States moved to block Venezuelan exports. The case of U.S. sex offender late Jeffrey Epstein has created furor in political circles. Now, New Mexico lawmakers have passed legislation to launch the first full investigation into what happened at Zorro Ranch. A bipartisan committee will seek testimony from survivors of the alleged sexual abuse at the ranch. Legislators are also urging local residents to testify. The Truth Commission, comprising of 4 lawmakers, seeks to identify ranch guests and state officials who may have known what was going on at the 77,600-acre property. The Democratic-led investigation adds to political pressure to uncover Epstein's crimes that has become a major challenge for President Trump. Former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton hoped more files related to Epstein would be released. Earlier this month, former U.S. President Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton agreed to testify in a congressional investigation into Epstein files. Meanwhile, in Europe, French police searched the Arab World Institute in Paris as part of a probe into its former head, ex-culture minister Jacques Lang, and his links to Epstein. Other investigation concerns French diplomat Fabrice Haidan, alleged to have transferred United Nations documents to Epstein. Haidan worked at the United Nations from July 2006 to April 2013, but has rejected the accusations. Robert Duvall, the veteran actor who had a string of roles in classic American films, including Apocalypse Now, The Godfather, and To Kill a Mockingbird, has died at the age of 95. The Oscar winner died at his home in Middleburg, Virginia on Sunday. Duvall won an Oscar for Best Actor in 1983 for playing a washed-up country singer in Tender Mercies. He was nominated 6 other times. Over his 6 decades-long career, he shone in both lead and supporting roles and eventually became a director. He kept acting in his 90s. Meanwhile, tributes are pouring in from Hollywood as film fraternity paid heartfelt tributes to the late, great Oscar winner. You're watching DD India News. Are waiting for a short break, but after the break, Indian officials to visit US for finalizing the legal text of the India-US interim trade agreement. Aiming to strengthen India-France defence ties, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to co-chair the 6th India-France Annual Defence Dialogue with his French counterpart.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Launch a bombing campaign against Iran. The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Newshour. Let's get you more updates. French President Emmanuel Macron arrived in Mumbai on Tuesday for a 3-day official visit to India at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Prime Minister Modi and President Macron are scheduled to meet at Lok Bhavan in Mumbai. The two leaders will hold a bilateral engagement to review progress in the India-France strategic partnership and also discuss ways to expand cooperation into new and emerging areas. Further, French President will also participate in the India AI Impact Summit, undergoing the growing collaboration between the two nations.
On 17th February, India and France will enter a new phase of cooperation in innovation. In Mumbai, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron will jointly announce the launch of the India-France Year of Innovation 2026. During Prime Minister Modi's visit to France last year, both countries announced the Horizon 2047 roadmap. The India-France Year of Innovation 2026 will be part of that vision. Throughout the year, programs will be organized to promote innovation in defense, space, civil, nuclear energy, climate, digital technology, and emerging sectors. The initiative is expected to generate awareness and inspiration, especially among youth. The India-France Innovation Forum will be held in Mumbai on 17th February. Apart from Prime Minister Modi and President Macron, the forum will bring together business leaders, startup representatives, researchers and policymakers from both countries. To take the India-France Year of Innovation 2026 to the public, a special cultural program will also be organized at the historic Gateway of India in Mumbai on the 17th. The Year of Innovation particularly will focus on startup collaboration, joint research, higher education partnerships, artificial intelligence, green technologies, and next-generation digital technologies. At a time when the global order faces multiple challenges, this collaboration between India and France will signal positive and constructive engagement on the world stage.
This is the time of innovation and India cannot miss this chance. That is why India-France Innovation Year 2026 is very important, because if India has to become a developed nation by 2047, innovation is very important. Akhilesh Suman for DD India with camera person Ashish Sharma in Mumbai, Lok Bhavan.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will co-chair the 6th India-France Annual Defence Dialogue with his French counterpart, Catherine Vautrin, in Bengaluru on Tuesday. The meeting will review the entire gamut of bilateral defence cooperation with focus on expanding industrial collaboration. A defence cooperation agreement is expected to be renewed for another 10 years, along with an MOU on a joint venture for manufacturing the Hammer missile, which is likely to be signed in the presence of both the defence ministers. An announcement is also expected with respect to the reciprocal deployment of officers at the Indian Army and French Land Forces establishments. The two ministers are also expected to witness the virtual inauguration of the H-125 light utility helicopter final assembly of Tata Airbus by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Macron at Vemagal in Karnataka. Akhilesh Suman is joining us from Mumbai to get us more. Akhilesh, good morning. We've told our viewers about the French President Emmanuel Macron's 3-day visit to India. He will be holding bilateral engagements with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Get us more details as to what do we expect the day to hold for both the leaders.
Actually, you know, that the place where I'm standing, you can see that Arabian Sea is behind me. And Arabian Sea is a part of Indo-Pacific. And at a time when US President Donald Trump is trying to withdraw from the whole Indo-Pacific security, in this situation, India-France relationships are very important. And this is one of the key elements of talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron. It is also very important to know that, this is an era of AI and innovation. And in this situation, France, being a developed nation and have much more capabilities than many other countries in this innovation and AI, I think that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron will also talk about how to forge the cooperation, long-term cooperation in this field, because India has a great talent pool and France has a great technology. So in that situation, how it can be a win-win situation for both the countries. And that is why India-France Innovation Year 2026 is going to be announced today when Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron are meeting from Lok Bhavan and then in the Taj Hotel at Gateway of India. Other than that, renewable energy cooperation is very important between the two countries. And if you remember that France and India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron were the two leaders who, declared the International Solar Alliance in Paris. And that International Solar Alliance is a successful, one can say that successful experiment and implementation of ideas and also logistics between various countries. And now there are more than 100 countries who are taking part in International Solar Alliance. So I think that is also going to be the very important area of collaboration and talk between the two leaders, that how to take it to new heights so that the issue of climate change can be addressed, and also at a time when Donald Trump has withdrawn from the whole climate funding. Other than that, the whole issue of Middle East, the whole situation in Middle East, because how situation in Middle East will be contained when Donald Trump has announced a unilateral vote of peace. In that way, how can international community can help Middle Eastern countries to forge peace? So in that way, I think both leaders will talk about this also. And Russia-Ukraine conflict is also one of the issues because even though US President Donald Trump is taking initiatives to take both the countries on the top table, but still he has not been successful. The conflict is going on between Russia and Ukraine. So I think both leaders, French President and Indian Prime Minister Modi, are going to talk about this. And one of the major areas of collaboration might be, that the issue of critical minerals. Critical minerals, India and France both want that there should be no monopoly of critical minerals, semiconductor in the hand of one country, that is China. And India is, trying to forge alliance everywhere about the critical minerals, being the largest populated country in the whole world. India will need the critical minerals in coming days when we are aspiring for, developed nation by 2047. So these are all issues which we are going to see that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Emmanuel Macron are going to talk. And as you have already seen that Rajnath Singh is also talking to his counterpart in Bangalore about the defense collaboration, how we can do defense manufacturing and transfer of technology with France. That is one of the key areas. And I think both leaders, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President, are also going to talk about the nitty-gritty and long-term association in this area,
All right, Akhilesh, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for joining us with that comprehensive answer and that insight. In other news, President of Estonia, Alar Karis, arrived in New Delhi to participate in the India AI Impact Summit. The visiting leader was warmly received by Minister of State for Youth Affairs and Sports, Raksha Katse, at the airport. The visit will further strengthen the long-standing India-Estonia ties. A team of Indian officials will visit US next week to finalize the legal text for the India-US interim trade agreement. India's Commerce Secretary Rajesh Agrawal on Monday said that Indian team, led by Chief Negotiator Darpan Jain, Joint Secretary in the Commerce Ministry, will visit United States for the next round of trade talks with US officials. The team, including officials from MEA, is expected to leave next Monday for Washington, D.C. India and the US earlier this month released a joint statement announcing that a framework for an interim trade agreement has been finalized. India's Air Chief Marshal AP Singh visited headquarters Southern Air Command on February 16th for attending the annual Commanders Conference of Southern Air Command. This conference was briefed on the ongoing initiatives, operational readiness, including air defense of the southern region and the ongoing expansion of IAF's reach and capabilities in the Indian Ocean region. The theme of the conference, Operational Efficiency Through Decision Autonomy, underscored the Indian Air Force's evolving approach to modern warfare through decentralized leadership. During the conference, the Chief of Air Staff urged commanders to foster innovation, optimize resources and strengthen jointness to ensure the IAF remains a potent and future-ready aerospace power. You're watching DD India Newshour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, Asia markets cautiously react to rising oil prices and talks. Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara captured Japan's first figure skating pair gold at the Winter Olympics.
I'm on a quest to explore the history of Goa. A land steeped in diverse and intersecting cultures and traditions.
I think this is one of my favorite pieces of art in the city.
Here, influences from multiple faiths coalesce in beautiful ways. From religious sites to charming villages and vibrant streets. Watch Postcards from Goa on National Geographic.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Newshour. Let's get to updates from the world of business now. Asian financial markets were trading carefully on Tuesday in holiday-thinned trading, but oil pushed higher with US and Iran nuclear negotiations in Geneva due to begin later in the day. China, Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan and South Korea markets were closed on Tuesday for Lunar New Year holidays. US markets were shut on Monday for President's Day. Japan's Nikkei was down 0.5%. In Australia, the index was trading almost 0.5% higher. In early Asian trading hours, Nasdaq futures were down 0.1%. The dollar index was last flat at 97.07 after a small gain of 0.2% overnight. Oil prices were higher ahead of the US-Iran talks aimed at de-escalating the tensions. US West Texas Intermediate crude was up 1.29%. Brent crude futures rose 1.33% overnight. Iran's Revolutionary Guards Navy held a drill in the Hormuz Strait on Monday, and the passage accounts for about 20% of the global oil shipments. Market remains unsettled by geopolitical uncertainties, with investors cautious due to the pending US-Iran and Ukraine negotiations this week. Japan's weakening economy remained in focus on Tuesday, one day after much softer than expected GDP numbers. The country on Monday reported its economy grew an annualized 0.2% in the fourth quarter, far below the 1.6% gain forecast. The government spending dragged on activity. Economists believe the weak figures highlight the challenges ahead for Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi and should support her push for more aggressive fiscal stimulus. The Bank of Japan would next meet on the rates in March, with traders forecasting only a slim chance for a hike. And after business, we now turn focus to sport. Sri Lanka trumped Australia by 8 wickets in Palakkad to push them to the brink of elimination from the ICC T20 World Cup 2026. Mitchell Marsh and Travis Head blazed away to explosive 50s before Sri Lanka rallied to bowl out Australia for 181. Sri Lanka rode on Nisanka's unbeaten ton to chase a record target at the venue in 18 overs and leave Australia's qualification hopes hanging by a thread. Australia will now need to win by a massive margin against Oman in their final match and rely on the results of other matches. If Zimbabwe manages to beat Ireland today, then Australia will be knocked out even before facing Oman. The last time Australia was knocked out in the group stage of the T20 showpiece event was in 2009. Scintillating century from Patham Nisanka sealed Sri Lanka's place in the Super 8 stage of the competition. The opener slammed a second century by a Sri Lankan batter in the T20 World Cup, joining the legendary Mahendra Jayawardene. This is also the second fastest T20 international century by a Sri Lankan in T20 internationals, coming in just 52 balls. And a quick look at today's matches in the T20 World Cup as teams eye final knockout spots. New Zealand and Canada are set to face each other for the first time in the shortest format. A win against Canada will firm up the Kiwis' spot in the Super 8. The result will also knock out Canada. Only South Africa from Group D has qualified for the Super 8 stage so far. Meanwhile, underdog Zimbabwe are just one win away from sealing their spot in the Super 8s. Zimbabwe, who upset heavyweights Australia earlier in the tournament, face Ireland today. While both sides are in contention for the knockouts, Zimbabwe have momentum firmly on their side with 2 consecutive wins. It will not only advance to the next round with another win, but also knock Australia out of the tournament. Let's get you updates from the ongoing Milano Cortina Winter Olympics 2026. Riku Muiro and Ruiki Kihara delivered a thrilling comeback performance to capture Japan's first Olympic figure skating pairs title. Miura and Kihara scored a whopping 158.13 points, a world record under the scoring system that was revamped following the 2018 Olympics. Anastasila Metelkina and Luka Berilova of Georgia won the silver medal. Captain Marie-Philip Pauline scored twice to send Canada to their 8th consecutive women's ice hockey Olympic final. Canada defeated Switzerland 2-1 to book a meeting with arch rivals United States. The defending champions will look to pick up a 6th gold against a talented young US team in the final on Thursday. Austria won the gold medal in the men's super team event in ski jumping. Poland claimed silver and Norway bronze. A gold brought huge relief for Austria, which has a rich ski jumping tradition, claiming a first medal in the event in the Games. Heavy snow made it difficult to clear the hill after each jump. With conditions deteriorating, officials decided to abandon the third round and declare the second round results as final. That's it in this edition of DD India Newshour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. Now, this app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.